While this animated series might not be Marvel's first foray into zombie apocalypses, or even the first time the MCU has done it, we do see some characters from Marvel's What If series coming back for Marvel Zombies. But it's also not our first time dealing with zombies in Marvel's endless universes. Welcome back to Geek, where we talk about video games and comics and everything in between. We try to have a little bit of everything for everybody. I'm Stella, and today we're going to be talking about the zombie apocalypse within the Marvel comics. Marvel zombies, while just being cool because zombie apocalypses are cool, and as a society we seem to love horror, and we especially have a fascination with the undead. And there's a whole reason for that. Be it the societal fear of infections on a large scale, the fear of death, the innate thrill of surviving something so impossible and something so weirdly relatable, and there's something so relatable about the need to survive. Zombie horror stories attract large audiences, and Marvel Zombie takes all of those things and shoves them onto beloved superheroes to have them deal with it. Because we tend to always believe that they are the ones who are going to be victorious. And Marvel Zombies is maybe one of the most heartbreaking runs in Marvel Comics because it's just the opposite. And that's saying something because I have definitely cried multiple times throughout my time reading Marvel Comics. This run hurts.
That was your friend. Sorry about that.
I should be sad, but I'm not.
Let's go.
But before we get into that, let's break down the logistics, because there was some retconning that happened within the multiple times they've done the Marvel Zombies. So it's kind of timey-wimey, and we have to start at the end to start at the beginning because they retconned it. So let's lay down that groundwork and then we'll get through what happened in the Marvel Zombie Apocalypse. Essentially, it's a case of retconning the original story a few years later to flesh it out so it all makes sense and gets wrapped up in this nice little story. Our first and main zombie apocalypse takes place on Earth 2149, which is first introduced in Ultimate Fantastic Four, with Reed Richards seeing a zombie version of himself and the other Fantastic Four. Much like in our What If show, the stories play out similarly. Not much is known about the life before the zombies, but it is assumed that it fell into step with Earth 616, up until the zombie apocalypse started. And when the Avengers went out to see what was causing the zombie apocalypse, that is what caused the zombie apocalypse to spread. And this is where we go to the end to explain the beginning, because this is something that was retconned and also added in. So, unknown to those Avengers, the Watcher actually sent a zombified Sentry to this planet to start the zombie apocalypse, infecting Earth 2149 with the plague known as the Hunger. Once all life on his Earth had been devoured, Hank Pym of Earth 2149, who had been transported to Earth Z by the living members of his reality, attempted to use the Sentry as a battery to power an interdimensional portal to richer feeding grounds. Once the last zombies were destroyed, UATU of Earth Z sent Sentry to the earlier point in Earth 2149's history using the machine, thereby encasing the zombie virus within an infinite loop of two realities. Back at the beginning of the apocalypse, because we had to start at the end to explain why Sentry was there in the first place, because it is an infinite loop of two zombie apocalypses. Back at the beginning of the apocalypse, it took the plague less than 24 hours, thanks to a zombified Quicksilver, to infect all of Earth, despite the efforts of Nick Fury and Ash Williams. And yes, that is the Ash Williams from Evil Dead.
I'm gonna have to ask you to leave the store.
Who the hell are you?
Name's Ash. Housewares.
Anyway, nothing stopped the zombies from eating and spreading the disease to the whole world because the Avengers were already zombies and were the ones doing it. That's the same plot that was in What If as well. Having nothing to eat, the zombified Fantastic Four had the idea of invading the Marvel Apes reality, however other zombies had already invaded it first. An alternate zombie, Mr. Fantastic, had no choice but to revert the invasion, so he and Spider-Monkey used the time machine and an interdimensional transporter to shift their consciousnesses into their bodies in the past in order to prevent the invasion. This in essence diverged Earth 8101 to Earth 9501 2119 and Earth 2149 to Earth 20150. So because of this, zombified Reed shifts the attention to his ultimate counterpart. After Ultimate Reed escapes, the Silver Surfer comes to announce the coming of Galactus. The zombified metahumans see an increasingly rare opportunity to feed, and after all others have failed to hurt the Surfer, the Hulk steps in and bites his head off. Because unfortunately at this point the Earth was entirely gripped by the hunger plague or the zombie plague, so there wasn't very much to eat anymore. So when the Silver Surfer arrived, he was quickly outnumbered. Horrified by the zombies and their actions, he attempted to escape and flee, but was caught and had his head eaten by the enraged Hulk. Upon being consumed by several zombies, a portion of the power cosmic was bestowed onto these zombies. So now not only were they Avengers, but they also had the power cosmic and they were zombies. Scary. And they find this out because Beast complains that there's not enough to share, and when he tries to point out how unfair it is, Captain America points at him and then just like explodes him. So, and in this universe, it follows the Ultimate universe a little bit because Captain America was president for a little bit and he's called Colonel America instead of Captain America, so I will be calling him that. If I bring that title up, it is still Captain America. He just has a different rank. So let's talk about the elephant in the room here, and it's that Ash Williams from Evil Dead is in this comic run. And he was actually with Sentry when they were both at the gates of heaven. So they were both at the gates of heaven, and Sentry was actually eating the angels in heaven. So even that's not safe from the zombies because he's assumingly dead and also eating the angels. So anyway, and when he wasn't snacking on angels, the zombified Sentry punched Ash Williams into this reality with the Marvel zombies. So he's telling Spider-Man all this when they're trying to figure out who Ash Williams is and why the Sentry is turning everybody into zombies. And when they're both hanging out, the Colonel America actually bites Spider-Man, who thinks he's immune to it because as Spider-Man he's immune and like to a lot of stuff. But he also pretends to be infected because he can use Hawkeye as leverage and kind of like threatens to kill a zombified Hawkeye because he was like, well, I'm infected, so but the other zombies told him not to bother because it would taste bad. As it seemed that the total destruction of a zombie's brain was the only way to kill them, which is usually how it goes for zombies. After a brief standoff, Spider-Man said that he was taking Ash because he had to listen to him talk, so he would get to eat him, and swung off with Ash still wrapped up. And as far as he knew, his like jaw was dislocated, but he wasn't actually a zombie. In like his mind, he thought he was fine because he's Spider-Man. And he went to go find Aunt May and Mary Jane. And this is one of the most heartbreaking parts of this comic run, and also just one of the like things that haunt Spider-Man for literally the rest of the comic run. He doesn't get so lucky to not become a zombie. When he arrived home, Spider-Man found May and MJ safe and well and told them that they needed to get away. But the hunger was spreading through his body and he doubled over in pain. When Mary Jane came to help, she grabbed his mask, exposing Peter as a zombie, and he ate her. Aunt May came in from the other room because she was trying to get like a first aid kit for him, and Peter told her to hide while he's still eating MJ. And presumably he also ate Aunt May, even though we don't see it like in the comic run. MJ turns into a zombie while Peter is preoccupied. Her ultimate fate is currently unknown, but judging from Peter's guilt over killing Aunt May and Mary Jane, it's plausible that he killed MJ after. And the worst thing is while he is actually actively eating his loved ones and turning them into zombies, he is fully conscious of what he is doing as he is doing it. He just can't help it because these zombies aren't the like mindless wandering zombies that we see in a lot of media. They're actually like fully still the same people. They just have this hunger and like they are undead. So they're just, oh, it's so heartbreaking. So when Galactus himself appears, they attack him with their power cosmic. However, they are not strong enough to defeat him, and they make a tactical withdrawal to come up with a plan. The plan consists of building a super gun which combines all of their individual power cosmics into a extra powerful beam. Upon successfully constructing the weapon, the zombies set off to find Galactus again. And when they find him, they see that the zombified versions of their enemies are making a determined but futile effort to bring down the Devourer themselves. It only takes a few shots of their super weapon to bring down Galactus. And he lays there and the supervillains and superheroes fight over which group is going to get to eat Galactus. The zombified heroes have the obvious upper hand with the power cosmic and kill a great number of the villains with relative ease. But not before Red Skull kills Colonel America. 40 years after leaving Earth, the cosmic-powered zombies have systematically devoured all other life in the universe, as well as infecting the Titan Thanos, who is killed shortly after by the Hulk over a food squabble. They then decide to return to Earth and rebuild the interdimensional portal that Magneto destroyed 40 years ago. And on their way back to Earth, they feast on Ego the Living Planet to satiate their hunger. Terrifying zombies, they're not just eating people, they're eating planets and Galactus, and it's so wild. On Earth, an elderly Black Panther rules over the surviving humans in New Wakanda, which resides in the ruins of New York City. The Panther's grandson accidentally discovers the severed head of Hawkeye, who has gone mad and amnesiac? It's a word I've never been able to say. He has amnesia now, from decades of being alone and unable to move. One of Cortez's assassins attacks the Panther in his sleep and fatally wounds him, but the Panther is saved from death by Wasp when she infects him, leaving him a zombie. After killing Gladiator, the human resistance drives off the remaining zombies and restores Luke Cage and Spider-Man's lost limbs with cybernetics. Spider-Man then reveals that the other zombies seek the dimensional teleporter, which Forge reveals he has stored in their base. Knowing that the zombies will not depart without the device, the heroes prepare for the next battle. It is then revealed that the Black Panther's deceased son, T'Challa, has been revived with a portion of Colonel America's brains inside of him. During the next battle, Iron Man breaches the compound and battles Forge, T'Challa, and several acolytes. Just as the cosmic zombies gain the upper hand and prepare to feast on the remaining humans, Giant Man is surprised to realize he has lost his hunger. Giant Man then convinces the zombies that their hunger is in fact gone, and while he is successful, they are interrupted by an enraged and starving Hulk. The Hulk destroys several zombies, Phoenix, Firelord, Hawkeye, and Iron Man, as they attempt to stop him from eating the remaining humans. Sentry, having fallen in love with Wasp and believing her to be dead, offers himself to be devoured by the Hulk to stop the Hulk's rampage. The Hulk consumes Robert Reynolds and then reverts back to Banner, who requested to be killed by the survivors to prevent the Hulk from ever returning. New Wakanda is rebuilt, and Cortez uses the teleporter to transport away the last zombies, intending to seize power for himself. In Earth Z, the new reality that all of the zombies were transported to, they all appear in separate locations, and the hunger has returned. Giant Man, who appeared at the blue area of the moon, decided to use UATU's technology to get to the other dimension after devouring him. However, all of the other zombies tried to oppose him. In the end, they were all killed except for Spider-Man, who was leading the new Avengers while Hank led the Avengers. Spider-Man revealed he infused Earthsea's Sandman with Stark nanobots that consume damaged flesh and multiply on their own. As all of the zombies were consumed by nanobots, Spider-Man thanks Sandman for avenging Aunt May and Mary Jane's deaths. Uatu reappeared and revealed that he can't be devoured or consumed, because he is the Watcher. It makes sense. By observing these events, he came up with the idea to then put the zombified Sentry, the last remaining zombie, back in time to Earth 2149, so this infection could just continuously start over and over and over and over again, keeping it within the only two universes instead of having it take over all of the universes, inevitably. So what does that all mean for our little animated what if show? It is zombies, and we have some similarities and some differences. The zombie apocalypse starts with Wanda in the show and not Sentry, because we didn't have Sentry yet. Well, Wanda is the queen of the dead. She is not the person who started it. We still don't know who started it, so it could still be Sentry. We could have just been waiting for Thunderbolts to add Sentry to this lore. But we still have a lot of the same things that could happen. We have zombie Thanos. We now have Galactus and Shallabal because Fantastic Four has come out. So there's a lot of things that could happen that is really exciting if they take it from the run. But there's also a lot of heartbreak that they can do because it is now the rated R animation that it is. And I personally am very excited to see what they do because I love zombie stuff and I love this run. And it's just one of the ones that I grew up listening to my dad tell me about. So that was really cool that they're finally doing an animation for it. But if you like this and you want to see more videos like this where we explain entire comic runs based on things that are coming out in the future, please let us know. And be sure to leave a like and a comment and talk with me in the comments down below. And I'll see you guys next time. Stay geeky. Bye-bye.